Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new lesson. I'm Matt Fryer, and in today's lesson I'm going to be talking to you about the 3 most common faults I see in the golf swing when giving golf lessons. Let's get stuck in and see what those are. So as a golfer, we probably all have tendencies. We probably go out there and say, you know, I always slice my driver, I always top my irons, I get them heavy, I duff my chips. And it would always be that you tend to have the same flaws as you go throughout your golfing career. You would generally have this underlying problem that you've tried to fix, and when it starts to go wrong, you've probably slipped back into that old habit. So these are the 3 most common things that I see in the golf swing when I'm giving lessons, and what they could cause as we would see these things start to creep in. So if you feel that you reflect with any of these and that sounds just like me, have a go at the tips in these in this lesson and see that you're not making these mistakes and you're actually working towards fixing them and getting the best out of your golf swing. Because the first thing that I see when I give golf lessons is a really poor weight transfer. So what do we mean by that? I mean that when we stand to the golf ball and as we actually take a good address, we would see that depending on whether we had a driver, an iron, or we were hitting a pitch, our weight would be a little different as we actually stand to the golf ball. And as we make the swing, the pressure throughout the golf swing is going to change, and then hopefully at the end we would have a good transfer of weight and we would see that we get a consistent strike, and we'd also get the distance we would desire from the club that we would be using. Because you might be someone who hits it pretty nicely as you're out on the golf course, and you think to yourself, you know, I'm an athletic person, I go to the gym, but when I get out on the course I just don't seem to get any distance. And that's because as we make the golf swing, we're maybe not transferring enough force into the back of the golf ball through a poor weight transfer. So what we would see is something that, as you may make your golf swing, as you start your downswing, you don't ever feel like you're actually pushing your weight towards the target and then turning into your lead side. You might actually finish where you feel that you're always leant back away from the target and can feel a lot of pressure in your trail thigh here. Almost for me at the moment, as I hold this position, I can't lift my trail foot off the ground as here, because everything that I'm doing is leant back behind it. So from there, like I say, we're going to see a lack of distance, and also we're going to see a real inconsistent strike, because as I move my weight back, I'm moving the low point of the arc back, and I'm not going to be able to get that good strike. So if you're someone who feels that you've got a poor weight transfer, a real simple exercise and a feeling that I want you to get on the golf course is that when you're holding your finish, you want to feel that your chest, in particular your 2 shoulders, feel that they're turned over your lead foot. So as we'd make the golf swing, it would look something where as I turn now, I feel that my 2 shoulders here now are matched over my lead side. I'm not leaning back behind it, I'm not falling off balance. I feel that every swing I make, I get into a good position, I get my shoulders over the lead foot, and I can actually tap my foot on the ground. So let's give that a go and see that I can get a good strike and get some decent distance out of this driver here. So I'm going to get my shoulders to feel they match my lead foot when I finish, and hold that balance. And there, as we can see now, they're matching. We've got a nice little tap of the toe, because what I did was transfer that weight, and I've got the ball a pretty decent distance as I've gone out there. Let's take a look at the second most common thing that I see when giving a golf lesson. So the second most common fault that I see when I'm giving golf lessons is all to do with how we're swinging the club in terms of where it is relative to the plane. Now the plane is the angle that the club should swing around our body. Each club sits at a different angle, and if we were robots, we would swing it on the angle that it's designed, but we're not. It's generally not going to happen. But as long as we're somewhere near, that's okay, because the most common thing that I see from lessons is the over the top or the steep swing on the way down. So you probably will have heard terms like that where, oh, you've got an over the top swing there, or you're swinging really steep. And if you're not quite sure what that means, basically, if I had a line drew up my club here now and it was dissecting my body in half, what we would see that On the backswing it might travel up it and then it gets up into a great position, but then in transition into the downswing we would see now it's coming over the top of the line here. So as the club approaches it starts to come over the top, which in turn makes it steep, because if we look at the angle of the shaft now and we shoot an arrow straight down, we see that it's going to go pretty much into the ground here in between my ball and my feet. So that would entail that I'm getting it a little bit steep, so I'm coming down and I might be chopping at the ground here. Also, when I start to get steep, generally if it's over the top, what we would see is that I work from out to in. So the types of shot that we would see would be the ones that if my face was open now as a right-handed player, I'd see a big slice. I might see ones where with my driver I'm not getting much height. Also, we might get the ones where with the driver I start to get really scuffed top of line of my driver because I'm skying a lot of them because I've got the ball peg too high, and as I come down I'm over the top and chopping down into that ground. We do hear terms like shallowing it out at the moment as well, like, oh, he got really shallow in his downswing. So if we can aim to get a little bit shallower, we would see that we're not getting as steep and we're not getting over the top all the time and getting these poor shots. So again, another really nice feeling that we can try and aim to have would be that as we feel we get up to the top of the backswing, if we were to just stop here and feel that I let my right elbow now as a right-handed player, my trail elbow, just fall into my rib cage. As I get this, we can see that the club starts to shallow out here. It's not that as I let my right elbow go away from my body, I get steeper. So the feeling, if we are getting really steep and feeling that we're over the top, is to have a pause, let the right elbow fall, and then swing through. And once you've had a few of these practice swings where we are up, pause, drop, swing, we would start to feel that that club is starting to come a lot more shallower here. So we're feeling this and letting it come through. So let's give that a little go, see if we can get rid of the steep feeling as I go through my golf swing. So I'm just going to let that trail elbow fall into my rib cage and see that I get a little bit shallower. And again, pretty nice golf shot there, just up the right of the fairway, and job done as we go through. Let's take a look at the third most common fault that I see. Guys, if you are enjoying this video as well, do remember to hit the subscribe button down below. I want you to get better at golf, and you're going to do that with your free golf lessons every week here on the channel. Hit it, it's down below there, totally free, and you get your lessons. Let's take a look at this final fault. So the most common fault I see when giving lessons down at Trafford Golf Centre is a lack of club face control, or even awareness of the club face. And sometimes it's not even because we're not thinking about it. We've gone off on a tangent of thinking of so many different other things. Obviously, I make a lot of YouTube videos and they are great to help your game, but sometimes when I get people into my bay for a lesson and I say, talk me through your golf swing, what's going on at the moment and why are you doing certain things, the club face is hardly ever mentioned. It's, well, you know, I've been watching this and I get over the top, and then what I feel like is I don't rotate enough, and then on the way down I've got this, and you've got a million thoughts firstly, so let's clear those out. But remember, everything that we do in the golf swing is designed for this piece of club here to hit the ball and get it going towards our target. So we've got to think about this firstly. What is the club face doing? Because that has a huge, or probably the biggest impact on the ball's flight. So it might be that your face is getting wide open in your backswing and you don't feel it. The amount of times people, when I've said, can you just stop halfway back for me here and show me where the club face should be, and I see all weird and wonderful ways. And as soon as we get an idea of, okay, let's just focus on that club face, we can start to make the ball go where we want. A real simple way of breaking it down would be that if your ball's going right, if you get the face looking really left, it can't go right anymore, and vice versa. If it's going really left, if you get the face looking a little bit more right, it can't go over to the left. Obviously there's a little bit more detail to that, but if you can actually just start to make some golf swings where you were aware as you're coming down, where is your club face starting to look? You know, is it looking right of the target? Is it looking left of the target? And as you start to make some practice swings and feel that it's looking in different positions, how did you make it look in different positions? What you will find is a lot of it comes down to how you rotate your hands, how you rotate your forearms, because they have that big influence on the club face. So if you are someone who is really struggling, let's say with a slice at the moment, make some practice swings where as we're coming through, can we get the face to feel like it's looking off behind us in this direction very quickly as we're swinging through? Can we feel like we actually almost flip it to start off with, but this is just you getting the feeling of a release. If you're a big slicer and you've got the old chicken wing like so, and the face is always looking right, can we get the face to look left? Can we get it released a little bit and turned over? Because once we get some club face control and some awareness of it, we're then able to actually allow the swing to fall into place. So let's finish off here with a nice one. We're going to go straight down the middle. The last two shots that I've hit have been a little bit up the right hand side, so I'm going to feel that I get a good weight transfer, I shallow it out, and I'm also just going to get the face looking a little bit left of the centre of the fairway to get me down the middle of it this time. So good swing here, and there we go, bullet straight down the middle. That was beautiful, that one. Great drive, good distance, all because I've fixed those three most common faults that I see in the golf lesson. So guys, if you are seeing any of those traits from your golf swing, go through those and have a little work on each single one. See that you're not doing them anymore, and you should start to get better control of your golf swing. Thanks for watching this lesson this week. If you've enjoyed it, hit that like button for me down below. Drop me a comment. What else do you want to see on the channel moving forwards, and what are you struggling with in your golf swing? Remember, hit the subscribe button as well, and I'll see you in your next golf lesson.